Hello and welcome to RZL Zoning, where today we want to talk to you about the RZL CoolMizer. The RZL CoolMizer is an economizer for split system units. It has a couple of ports on the top of it. We label them for vent and economizer. And when we have it potential for low ambient cooling, the RZL CoolMizer allows us to pull that cold air from outside instead of running our mechanicals, which is going to help us save us energy. But for the other seasons where we need fresh air, we want to introduce fresh air from outside for the home, we can restrict that off to pull in a metered amount of air. So in normal conditions, there's no call from the thermostat, there's no call for fan, there's no fresh air operation needed. You'll see that the CoolMizer blades are closed. And we have two options for you. We have round and we have square. So if you want to install a square duct going outside, RZL can do a square damper for you. If you want to do a single round pipe outside, we have our round dampers, and you'll install two dampers back to back. We have our fresh air control, we have our economizer, and then for the square damper we have a small blade that's for fresh air, and we have a larger blade and that's for economizer operation. So with just a simple call for fan, the panel will switch to fresh air operation if the outdoor air conditions are favorable to it. We have a sensor that monitors our outdoor air temperature, that monitors our humidity. If those are meeting an extreme temperature, so it's way too hot, it's way too cold, or it's way too humid, the enthalpy sensor or the temperature humidity sensor will disable that outside air pipe and keep them closed. However, if conditions are favorable, and those are easily set up through the RZL CoolMizer, you'll set a high temp, you'll set a low temp, and then you'll set a humidity percentage. And if that's favorable, we'll be able to pull our fresh air from outside. If we get a call for cooling, and it's cold enough outside, conditions are favorable, we'll then switch to economizer operation, where we'll see both blades open. Now something to notice, I didn't point it out just a minute ago, but during fresh air operation, the large blade on the round will open, the small blade stays closed. The small blade stays closed, pulling in a metered amount of air from outside, but then during economizer operation, we'll see that both blades are open, we'll see both blades open, and we pull that full volume of air now from outside so that we can bring in those BTUs to cool the home for that low ambient condition. So thank you for paying attention to the quick overview of the RZL CoolMizer. We hope it's a product that you'll find to meet a lot of the niche comfort requirements that people are having with their homes. The more homes become green, the more we have a need for fresh air, the more we potentially have the need for low ambient cooling, and RZL has the product for you. So thank you for listening. All right, so we've had a quick look at the RZL CoolMizer. We've seen the dampers, the square damper and the round damper, and how we can make those work together for you. If you have any questions about it, please reach out to us at 800-611-8312. But for now, let's take a closer look at the RZL CoolMizer. So the RZL CoolMizer is your basic economizer functionality. So if you have available cool air outside, your customer has a need for low ambient cooling, the RZL CoolMizer brings that air from outside rather than running the mechanicals. And that's going to save energy. That's going to save money. It's got a lot of the same advantages that we would have with a commercial economizer, because it does have the temperature humidity sensor that's going to monitor your outdoor temperature, your outdoor humidity. And then based on those parameters, it will disable itself so that we're not pulling in extreme amounts of humidity. We're not pulling in excessively cold air, excessively hot air. We're going to be able to disable that based on the outdoor parameters, and that's going to make for a more efficient system. So if we disable the outside air because of those parameters, we'll run the mechanical. But if the outdoor conditions are favorable, we're going to run the CoolMizer and pull those BTUs from outside rather than using our mechanical system. But we also have the fresh air built into it. So for those tight homes, the homes that need fresh air, they're so tight
There's a lot more indoor air contaminants in home, and with as much time as we spend indoors, we need to have the cleanest, freshest air we can inside. The RSL CoolMizer helps us to achieve that. There's also an external override switch on the board. This external override switch, we can provide an event such as a carbon monoxide alarm with a normally open set of contacts. When the carbon monoxide alarm goes off, those contacts close. This will override the panel, providing a fan call and opening the damper to outside so we bring that fresh air in to help dilute the indoor air condition. So that's something where you can provide your own type of control for it. And based on that event that you design, whether it's a IAQ sensor or maybe it's just they want to ignore the outdoor temperature parameters and bring fresh air in continuously, you can do that by just closing contacts across the external switch. Fairly simple board. We have our HVAC in, that's where our thermostat's going to connect, and we have our equipment out. We have our power wires, our sensor wires, the external override switch that I just talked about, as well as the solenoid connections and pump. So fairly simple board, pretty straightforward, just standard 24-volt connections are W1, W2, Y1, Y2, G, O, and C. So if we have a heat pump, it is compatible with those heat pumps. Very simple setup. You have a high temperature, you have a low temperature, and you have a maximum humidity percentage. You'll set that for heating, you'll set that for cooling, and you'll set it for FACT, fresh air control technology. You'll select whether you have a furnace or whether you have a heat pump. You'll select if you just want to use it purely for fresh air or if you want to use it for its full economizer or CoolMizer capabilities. So very simple, very fast, easy setup. But we have to determine, what do we need to bring in? So if we have our home designed for, say, 92 degrees, normal temperature for design application here where we're at in Northeast Ohio, well, let's say that air conditioner is sized for 92 degrees outside, and we've got a 4-ton air conditioner. If it's 50 degrees outside, if it's 55 degrees outside, our BTU requirements are going to be completely different. So when we're designing our outdoor air pipe, we're not designing it for 100% of our air conditioner's capacity. We're designing it based on the sensible load at design operating conditions. So if we're going to have the CoolMizer operating at, say, 55 degrees, we need to do a load calculation for 55 degrees to find out what the building's cooling requirements would be. And from there, we can determine what size outdoor air pipe is going to be appropriate. So we size for sensible load, and we size that based on the sensible load at the highest outdoor temperature that the economizer is going to be operating. And we also want to restrict off our return air. We want to close off about 50% of the air coming from the house so we can maximize our static pressure to pull a greater amount of BTUs from outside. So things that we need to look for, and this is what I just talked about with these past couple of slides there. But if it's 95 degrees outside, that's 100% peak load. We have a cooling need for 48,000 BTUs, 4 tons of air. But we have the same house, and now it's 50 degrees outside. What do we want to maintain? How many BTUs do we need to maintain our indoor air based on that new outside air temperature? What temperature are we looking to maintain it in the home? So that's going to change significantly. At 95 degrees in the previous slide, we needed 48,000 BTUs. But here with the load calculation at 50 degrees, we only need 4,911 BTUs. Significant difference, and that's going to have a huge impact on the size duct that we are going to run outdoors. So when we're determining our airflow, we need to know what our BTU requirements are. And then we can determine what our pipe is capable of by knowing what our CFM content is going to be. So CFM times our delta T, and our delta T is going to be what's the outdoor air temperature at and what's the temperature we're trying to maintain the home at. So If we're trying to maintain the home at 74 degrees and it is 50 degrees outside, that gives us a 24-degree delta T. If we're trying to maintain the home at 74 degrees with 55 degrees outside, now that gives us a 19-degree delta T. So we take our CFM rating for that pipe and we want to run that at a higher velocity, a higher static pressure, or a higher feet per minute. So while our branch ducts might typically be designed at say 350 feet per minute, which would give an 8-inch pipe right around 175 CFM. We want to design that for maximum velocity, probably somewhere closer to about 700 feet per minute, which is going to give us about 350 feet per minute, or 350 CFM. So we can take that 350 CFM times our delta T times 1.08, and that would tell us what our BTUs are going to be pulling from outside. So what is the duct that we have run outside? What's its size? What is that rated for in CFM? And then what is our maximum operating condition minus our design indoor air condition or temperature? So indoor air temperature, we want to maintain, say, 74 degrees. Outdoor air temperature, design operating conditions, 50 degrees. It gives us a 24-degree delta T. So CFM times our delta T times 1.08 gives us our calculation for how many BTUs we can pull in from outside. We have more thorough classes to really step through this, so if that's something you're interested in, please reach out to us. Tech support at rslzoning.com. Again, that's tech support at rslzoning.com, where you can use the contact us form on our website, www.rslzoning.com. We'll be more than happy to go through the math of sizing your outdoor air pipe more thoroughly with you. But for fresh air mode, we saw this in the live demonstration. We had a round pipe, 2 dampers inside that pipe. During fresh air mode, the large dampers open, the small dampers close, and that pulls a metered amount of fresh air in so that we can mix that in with the house air. Our return air damper would be fully open. When we take that into economizer mode though, both dampers open, our return damper would close, and then we pull in the full volume of air from outside. And we only really want to restrict off about 50% of the return air. That way we're still getting some of the air coming back from the home and we're not over pressurizing the home with the air from outside. So we still want a mix of air coming from the house, but we want to restrict off our return enough that we can increase that draw from outside. And that's going to provide us with that free cooling, those BTUs that are going to help us to condition the home during those low ambient cooling needs. And that's going to really help out with the IAQ in the house because we're making a large exchange with the air outside, which is going to dilute indoor air contaminants and make for easier, healthier breathing. But looking at how that pipe is sized. So in this case, on the right, I've got a pipe sized at 120 CFM. Outdoor air conditions are 76. Outdoor air conditions are OAT 56. Indoor air temperature 76. At 120 CFM, I can pull about 2,600 BTUs through that pipe. However, if I close that off, 50% of my return air, I increase my velocity and draw from outside. If I can get that up as much as say 450 CFM of outside air, that's going to give me almost 10,000 BTUs of draw from outside. So that's a lot of the reason why we want to close off a portion of our return. It's so we can increase our velocity, we can increase our volume, our draw from outside. And as we increase that draw from outside, we get more BTUs with it. We're more likely to satisfy the cooling load in the home without needing the mechanicals. So pulling more air from outside is a good thing, and we have to design our pipe or our outside air duct appropriately so we can get the air that we need. There are custom dampers when it comes to the CoolMizer. The outside air dampers, we want those to be spring closed. The reason we want them to be spring closed is because if we turn the pump off, we want that spring to push those dampers closed. That way we're not pulling in that air freely when we just want it to stay closed. So the outside air dampers do have spring closed kits on them. However, the return air damper, that would need to be spring open because we'd want it to default to its open position if we turn the pump off. We also want to have that return damper be reverse acting of the outside air dampers because it's going to tee in with the economizer damper. So when it's reverse acting, as the economizer damper opens, the return damper closes. As the return damper opens, the economizer damper closes, but our fresh air damper still operates independently. So there are custom dampers when it comes to the RZL CoolMizer. Let us know how we can help. We'll send you a form. You can fill that out real quick and we'll make sure we get those custom dampers built for you right the first time. If you need a installation toolkit, we have those readily available. It's going to have a tubing staple gun that will allow for a nice, tidy, neat installation. Has a good assortment of fittings, tees, pretty much anything as far as the miscellaneous small parts go that you're going to need from RZL that can be found in the installation toolkit. But we do want you to know that we are here for you. We have solutions that nobody else is going to be able to offer you, not in an easy package. And we work with you. We want to make sure that RZL zoning maintains the highest in quality, maintains the highest in responsiveness, and offers you the solutions that are going to take care of your customers' comfort needs. And we're going to get them taken care of with the RZL guarantee. 100% comfort guarantee. If your customer is dissatisfied with the operation within the first year, we'll buy it back. As long as it was designed and installed correctly, we'll buy it back. But also RZL's lifetime parts warranty. If anything fails, RZL will replace that part under warranty. The control board fails, we'll send you a replacement control board. You just have to reach out to us, a couple of quick diagnostic questions, and we'll take care of it. But when you're looking at RZL, it's very fast and easy to install. Electrical wiring is just your standard basic low voltage wiring. There's less mess, there's less noise. Our dampers are extremely quiet, and there's less maintenance. It's a very, very low maintenance system. Most technicians hardly ever service our system, and that's why our tech support's here, because when you forget about how to work on the RZL system, we're here to remind you, and we do that in a way that's both memorable and easy to understand. So let us know how we can help. We firmly stand behind our product as the most reliable in the industry with our lifetime warranty. As long as it's been registered within 90 days of installation, it's covered. We're proudly made here in the USA, and we also are so confident in the comfort that RZL products will provide. We offer a 100% comfort guarantee. So let us know how we can help. Our tech support's available 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time at 800-611-8312. Again, that's 800-611-8312. We look forward to talking to you. If you do need anything for marketing, though, our marketing department's easy to reach through our website. So rzlzoning.com. Click on Contact Us, and you can request your marketing literature through there. We look forward to hearing from you. Any questions, please call 800-611-8312. And we thank you for your time.